Hello everyone, so my name is Toby Chen. So we're operating a business that is kind of a very fun business because we are creating games. But it's different from the normal games you watch for like electronic games. We are actually creating real situation games. So actually what we are doing is real room escape. To put it simple, just you and your teammates, for example like 5 to 8 people, you're put in a real situation, in a real set of rooms. You have puzzles, you have all those automatic triggers, and you have all those problems you have to solve. So ultimately it's a challenge. You and your friends have to find a way to open the door and get away from this room. So it's a kind of a it's very simple, but actually it's kind of a very fun game. So we are operating such business from the year 2012 with other 3 of my friends, and we have currently opened 5 venues in mainland China, directly controlled venues in mainland China. And we have opened our venues in nearly 30 other cities in China. And we opened our venues in San Francisco, Washington DC, New York, London, Melbourne, and in the cities overseas. So actually we are kind of the largest scale room escape experiencing venues here around in China.
What different types of innovation have you undertaken within the business?
So I think there is kind of a very important innovations we have just made. The first thing that when we started the business, actually there is no concept of a real room escape. When we started, we just thought, well, maybe it will be fun, so we just do it. But actually there was no business before like us. So this is the thing that we have created. After we are the first to do such kind of things in China, and after we do, there is a lot of, for example, thousands of business who come into this field. So we are proud to say that we have created this business in China. So this is the first thing we invented. We invented this kind of product, this kind of experience like real room escape. And the second thing that we're doing is that we are doing VR content producing, the virtual reality content producing. Just in the beginning of this year, we have built up a team to develop VR content. Actually, just in April, we have won a national contest, a VR content producing contest held by HTC Vive. So we are entering this very very advanced and this very new area of this technology development. So we think we are doing these 2 innovations to sustain our business to grow into another stage. Because we're developing the contents in China, but when we put our venues in, for example, like San Francisco and New York, we have to think what the locals, they can understand our game and how to make them like our game. So we have to do a lot of localization. For example, some of our puzzles are in Chinese. Kind of the thought and the logic can be only perceived by Chinese people. But when we do localization, we'll make it much more generalized and make it will be understood by people whose mother language is in English. So we have to do a lot of localization and transplantation. The customers in different countries, they share some similarities, but they are also different. For example, in China, especially in Beijing, our customers usually aged from 15 to 30. They are kind of, for example, like high school students, college students, and the employees who just entered their job for like 5 to 10 years. So this is the customers in China. And in China, the customers, they kind of very emphasize their privacy. For example, they are just willing to play with their friends, come together, but they are not willing to play with strangers. But in the US, the people are kind of easygoing. They would like to share the room with other people. So we can put different people in the same room. They will play it, and they will also find this kind of very interesting. So the difference between our customers will make our business model a little bit different in different countries.
What is your creative process behind your innovation and generating new ideas?
It's kind of much more like a brainstorming. We have a team who just design the game designers. We have a team of 10 people. They're from different backgrounds. For example, some people are before enter our company, they are novel writers, and some are game designers, and some are just who are very interested in history or such things. So they have the knowledge or have some ideas from different backgrounds. So when we put up a team, we just brainstorming, and everyone will come up with their perspective, a unique perspective, and we develop the game together.
How did you know which ideas to drive forward with and which ideas to reject?
First of all, after 4 years of game developing, we have very clear guidelines. For example, when you put we have the name that trigger. The trigger means, for example, when you put a vase on a cabinet, it's a kind of a trigger because it trigger a process. And we have reaction. The reaction is that when put the vase on the cabinet, then the door open. This is the reaction. So we have the principle that the trigger and the reaction has to be very close. Because if it's very far and separated, people will never notice that what's happening. So when we have such kind of guidelines and this experience we accumulated during the 4 years of game creation. So first of all, we use our guidelines to select these ideas, and this is the first thing. And the next thing that what we do is the testing, because when we put these ideas in a real situation, we invite our very experienced players to have test of our game. So they will provide their feedbacks, will adjust the game according to their feedbacks.
What constraints have limited your ability to innovate?
I think the most limits of our business is actually the feasibility. Because we have a lot of great ideas. For example, we want to build a very scientific fantasized theme, for example, but in the real situation you cannot do it. There is kind of two perspectives. The first is that practically infeasible, because we cannot do it. It's just very simple. The second thing, that business infeasible, because you have to invest a lot. But after a lot of investment to put it into real, but the business outcome maybe cannot reach the investment. So it's very, very low ROI. So we think that this is not feasible. So actually the limitation is the feasibility of the ideas.